Hi everybody, my name is DK Cordero. I am a certified peer specialist and welcome to Meditative Recovery. Today I'm going to be introducing SAMHSA's, uh, these are 10 principles of recovery, and these can be used for any type of recovery, whether it's substance abuse or mental health recovery issues, any type of recovery whatsoever. And today we're going to introduce the guiding principle of hope. Uh, since it's a meditative program, we're going to, of course, start with the meditative portion. Uh, what we do here is essentially we're going to take a 5-minute vacation from the stresses and strain of life and basically open up our minds to become receptive to the idea of hope as a guiding principle in the recovery process. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the meditation. As I've stated before, this is an unrestricted type of activity. We want to be in loose-fitting clothing. If possible, we want to be in a very comfortable chair, lying down on a bed. I do it frequently on the floor. Whatever place you can find yourself being comfortable, do so. We try not to have like ankles crossed and things like that. And I have spoken about it before, but these we just want to get rid of. I just let mine flop. I don't do any particularly special thing with my hands. Just try to keep it easy, make it comfortable, etc. So let's go ahead and go into the meditative portion of the show. What I'm going to do is put a little background music on for us. And the idea is there are different types of things that work to help people relax. What I find in my case, like water meditation, there's all kinds of different stuff. I'm just picking one from my list of favorites on YouTube. And as soon as, of course, we get rid of the ad, we'll be in good shape. But in any event, what we want to do is use this as a background for, if you will, the distraction of peace. We're always distracted by noises, the bombardments, intrusions, all kinds of things. What we want to do is simply take what I love to call is the 5-minute vacation. So let's get real comfortable right now. Feet flat on the floor if you're in a chair. You want to sit up erect. And here's something I like to share. Our spinal column is a lot like a pile of blocks. As children might, they put one on top of the other. And we want to take advantage of that structure and be, top to bottom. We want to be real comfortable, but have a sense of balance in the process. So, the other thing I do want to mention is about the neck itself. We really want to have it like a natural position, and if you let your head come slightly forward, I think you'll find it's a little bit more comfortable. The other thing is, I'm not like a Zen master. I'm not going to be encouraging you to be perfectly still. It doesn't work for me. If I was in a Zen-do, I'd probably be the guy that was getting smacked all the time to get into a deeper state of meditation. I don't recommend that. I just want you to be chilled out. So go ahead and get in, feet flat on the floor, and close your eyes gently, and let's take our little vacation. We're going to do cleansing breaths. Do at least three cleansing breaths. And each time you exhale, you'll find yourself having the ability to sort of lower yourself. It's like your body, just like you've been taken out of a freezer and now set into a warm area. The sun starts to warm us, and we begin to melt down into like a sponginess. And you'll feel yourself every time you exhale. You'll feel yourself dropping deeper and deeper and deeper into a very pleasant state of relaxation. But let's do another body scan where we're going to start with the tips of our toes. And in fact, all of our feet, simply relinquish control, let go of any tension, senses of pain, whatever, that are in your feet. And as you exhale, you'll feel your feet getting closer to the ground. Do the same thing now with your lower leg, from the knee down to the tips of your toes. Let all the muscles, the tendons, all the fibers of your body just relax below the knee. Let's go from the hip bones down. Same thing. Your hamstrings, your quadriceps, all the muscles of your thigh, the tendons, etc. Just let go. It's like they're not there. And let your legs disappear into a soft, spongy place. Now let's do our entire torso, from our shoulders all the way down to the tips of our toes. Now there's a secret in breathing that will really, really help you get deeper and deeper and deeper into meditation. And that is, when you breathe in, let your belly expand as well. Okay? And let your chest open, let your belly open, and let, if you will, the most full breath in you possibly can. And when you exhale, you push from the belly upward and eliminate that breath. Now let's do the neck, the shoulders, and the arms all the way to the tips of our fingers. Same thing. You may want to, in some cases, move your head around a little bit. Sometimes I hold a lot of tension personally in my neck and in my jaw. So get yourself comfortable and then let that go. You have the power to let the pain, the tension, the stresses go by simply using your mind and concentrating on the rhythm of your breathing. Now let's do the entirety of our head. Top of the head, our forehead, our cheeks, and our jaw. I'm more guilty maybe than everybody else in terms of clenching my teeth. Well, we're going to take a vacation from that together today too. So literally now, from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, all the way to the tips of your toes, just let go of control. Each time you exhale, you'll feel pain and tension leaving your body. Today I'm going to have you make pretend you're staring at a candle, but keep your eyes closed. You're looking at a candle that might be sitting on a table in an otherwise darkened room. Look at the light that's coming off the candle and have a sense of the warmth that's coming from the candle. One of the things I like to do is, and I'm sure you've done this, is you've blown on a candle and you see it dancing around a little bit. Well, you can do that as you breathe too. You can sort of manipulate the dance of the candle flame. Some of you may have already experienced a tremendous decrease in the amount of felt pain and tension in your body. That's fantastic. But the better message is that you now know that with using or in using your mind, you can actually control how much pain and stress you will actually feel. And that's why I recommend that every time you're like totally stressed out, take a few moments to just take a 5-minute vacation, go chill out somewhere. And I do it at lunchtime, like virtually every day. But I meditate twice a day in a longer pattern meditation in the morning just to kind of get my focus. And I do the same thing at night. But whenever you feel stressed out, some people go smoke a cigarette. This is a very positive thing you can do. Concentrate on the candle and continue to focus, if you will, on the sound of your breathing and stay quiet. And what I'm going to do now is, while you continue to meditate, I'm going to read from the SAMHSA's working definition of recovery on the subject of hope. The main reason I started, this is a 10-component pie chart, if you will, but the reason I start with hope all the time is because I didn't have any. As someone who suffered from mental health disorders and from addiction, which, by the way, is a diagnosis within the realm of mental health disorder. In fact, believe it or not, you can actually qualify for Social Security disability if you have a protracted history of substance abuse. We're not going to talk too much about that now. I'll make a comment or two toward the end of the video. But right now, keeping your eyes closed and continually relax. Feel yourself closer and closer to the center of the earth. And I'm going to read a little bit about what SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, has to say about the principle of hope as it pertains to recovery. This comes from the National Consensus Statement on Mental Health Recovery. Hope. Recovery provides the essential and motivating message of a better future, that people can and do overcome the barriers and obstacles that confront them. Hope is internalized, but can be fostered by peers, families, friends, providers, and others. Hope is the catalyst of the recovery process. Mental health recovery not only benefits individuals with mental health disabilities by focusing on their abilities to live, work, learn, and fully participate in our society, but also enriches the texture of American community life. America reaps the benefits of the contributions individuals with mental disabilities can make, ultimately becoming a stronger and healthier nation. Again, I like to begin on hope because I didn't have any. I just didn't have any. I suffered from protracted mental health disorders, to include substance abuse. And I've shared my personal story. It wouldn't surprise me if it was more than 1,000 times now in all the years that I've been affiliated with my own recovery and helping in the facilitate, if you will, the recovery of others. My specialty is in the recovery of combat veterans with PTSD and substance abuse. It's called comorbidity or dual diagnosis. The reason I specialize in that is I have PTSD as a diagnosis, and I was also a substance abuser. My PTSD is not from combat. I was abused as a child. But nonetheless, and I tell this to people all the time, if you want to put this stuff on the front page of the New York Times, go ahead. And for the record, I have been diagnosed with major depression I have been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and phobias. It took me years to even begin to understand that I needed help, and I got it. And boy, am I glad I did. Um, this year, praise God, I will be celebrating this June the 13th. Will be my 9th year of continuous sobriety from an addiction to opiates. However, that was only one of the components. I frankly didn't realize I had so many mental health disorder issues until I stopped using the various drugs that I kept, allowing into my body. And so it's been a journey, and that's really what recovery is. It's a journey. It's not a destination. You don't like get to, um, it's not like going to the land of Oz, although there are many parallels that can be drawn from the yellow brick road. And I use that terminology all the time in recovery facilitation. But if I can lose hope, so can you. And I can assure you that I have heard hundreds of times from veterans and others in the recovery process that they simply had none, that they had lost it. Mine was so bad, although I'm a terrible coward and dogmatically frozen, I would never commit suicide. However, had my life ended in the grips of my addiction, that would have been just fine with me. And that is really a very consistent theme. But the way I look at it is it is the lack of hope that perpetuates, to a great degree, addictions and the miseries of mental illness. So what we want to do is we want to concentrate on something today that gives us hope. I want to talk a minute about stigma. One of the reasons I didn't seek mental health assistance was I didn't want anybody to know that I was mentally ill or that I had a mental disability. I thought that simply by admitting it, I'd be institutionalized, and that would be the end of it for me. And I simply, nobody was going to tell me I was mentally ill. Of course, those of you who know me well know that I'm a pretty big nutbag anyway, but the point is, it was the stigma. I didn't want the label of being someone with a mental illness, and I know I'm not alone there. It is very, very important, therefore, to understand that a lot of the stigma that we put on ourselves, we literally put it on ourselves. I didn't want the label of mentally ill. What was so interesting is, when did I really begin to believe that, when did the stigma really hit me? The answer is after I was diagnosed. After I actually had a diagnosis, I was able to look at this in a sense. I was comforted to know that there was something that I had that had a therapy associated with it. But the worst thing was, it became my master classification. I was no longer Don the finance guy, or Don the mathematician, or the judo player, or the soccer player, or whatever. Whatever positives there were in my life had totally been eclipsed. They were totally eclipsed by the fact that I was now Don the guy with depression, and Don the guy with anxiety disorders, etc. And because I put that stigma to a great degree on myself, I stopped believing in myself, and I got stuck. I got stuck, and that's, how do you get out of there? The answer is with hope. Hope. You've heard it said that hope springs eternal. Well, as long as it continues to spring, and you force it to spring forward, believe me, you're going to get out. You're going to get out of this place you find to be uncomfortable, and you don't have to be ashamed about mental health disabilities. Um, you can function, you will function, and perhaps better than a lot of people realize. One of the advantages we have with mental health disability in particular is nobody can see it. So if you do have a good compensation for it, whether it's, in this case, meditation, it could be medicinal controls. For many, many years, I had to take medications to help give my life, functionality. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I became very competent again and began through that whole process to believe in the positive attributions of my life. One of the things I would like to say too is that you should not just have hope for yourself, because we live in a dynamic way. We live in a dynamic society. So our mental health disorder can frequently affect the lives of others. Mine certainly did. And I can assure you, between my mental health disorders, to include substance abuse, I personally destroyed the lives of many, many, many people I know, especially loved ones, specifically with my immediate family. Absolutely destroyed their lives. And if you will, there's a remedy to that. And the first step is in hope. If you hope for the future and take the steps to make a better life, you will have one. I needed many help, sources of assistance. And the reason I became a peer specialist had to do with the fact that peer specialists actually helped me. These were the people that got me to keep it real, number one. I like to call it keeping it straight. And by keeping it real, trying to get a little bit on the humble side, which was real tough for, this wise guy from the streets of New York, I began to change. It's a transformational process. And give yourself time. Don't continue to beat yourself up. And give yourself positive distractions. Get out. And by the way, one of the best ways is contribute to the benefit of others. We all have a tendency to be narcissistic in our mental health, and very narcissistic if it's made worse by substance abuse. Get out and do something good for somebody else. It will definitely make a difference. I will be introducing subsequent, I'm going to do a series on the 10 components, these 10 components or principles of recovery from SAMHSA. Get in the habit, too, of making it okay to meditate. I'm telling you, it is awesome stuff. Requires no special equipment. And, I've gotten to the point where I'm so comfortable with meditating, I can do it, let's put it this way, I can do it every place but behind the wheel of a car. Probably not such a good idea if you catch my drift. But, certainly I can do it on an airplane. I've done it on trains, buses, whatever, as a passenger in a car. You don't have to necessarily be setting still to meditate effectively. In fact, through my study of Zen Buddhism, I became a pretty effective walking meditator. And there's all kinds of ways. There are all kinds of things, especially available to you on YouTube, just like this video is. Make yourself available to resources. Make yourself available to learn. In the learning, we learn things on a daily basis that can make our lives better. It is truly a guiding principle, if you will, openness to learn. In any event, continue to meditate if you have the time. Certainly this resource is there for you to continue to come back to. If you have anything to share in the comments, I'd love to read them. any ideas for future shows, etc., by all means, let me know. And at this time, I will wish you all a pleasant day. May God richly bless you. And Atma Namaste. Take very good care. Bye now.